Today I want to quickly address the US federal tax brackets for individuals because they are fairly straightforward, but there is a little bit of confusion about them that I think we can easily fix with some information. So in this video, I'll quickly go over the basics of the tax brackets so that they don't seem so daunting if you're just trying to figure out the basics of how they work. Now, I am not a tax professional by any means, so if you guys do come up with questions about taxes that you need answered by a professional, please seek professional advice and not just advice from some guy on the internet. I'll start by saying that if you currently file your taxes in the United States, we use what's called a progressive graduated income tax. And I know that sounds fancy, but it's really not that big of a deal. It just means that we use brackets or levels of taxes for certain amounts of income, and then the more income you make, the brackets actually go up as a percentage, so the more you make, the more you pay in taxes. So according to just the basic tax brackets, it is true that the more you make, the more you're taxed, but it's just the way it is. Now, the biggest misconception when it comes to taxes that everybody seems to talk about is the fact that you have to pay taxes on the highest bracket that your income reaches, and that's what a lot of people think is true. So for example, let's say that you made $51,000 last year and the income bracket reached 25% as soon as you hit $50,000. Well, most of us just assume now that you've got to pay the 25% tax on all of that money that you made because you hit the next point in the brackets, but that's not actually how it works, even though a lot of us think that that's how it is. Our system kind of works like a ladder, so everybody always starts at the bottom, and then they pay income tax on the bottom level, and then they move up to the next tier, and the next tier depending on how much income they make, and that is how the system works. So the way that it works is that if the tax bracket was 25% for income levels of $50,000 to $60,000 and you made $51,000, then what's really going to happen is you're only going to pay taxes on $1,000 because that was the difference of the tier that you actually hit with the $50,000 mark. So it's not like you have to pay 25% on all of the money that you made. You only have to pay that percentage on the amount of money that reaches inside that tier. Because if it really worked like that and you made $49,000 a year and then you got a $1,000 raise pushing you into the 25% tax bracket, then you probably wouldn't want that raise because you'd be wasting a bunch of money, literally just paying a bunch of taxes. So that's why it works on the ladder level so that it's actually fair and it's an incentive to keep working harder. Now I'm going to show you on my computer exactly how the individual tax brackets work for a single person in 2019 so that you guys can follow along with some real math. It all works pretty much the same, but just make sure that you're paying attention to the status that you're filing. So if you're filing married, filing jointly, or separate or single or anything like that, you want to put in those correct numbers. And then you also want to make sure that the brackets are correct for the year that you're working in, because a lot of the time the brackets are going to change just a little bit every single year based on inflation, or they might have a major overhaul like they did in 2018. Now let's just hop on my computer and I'll show you exactly how these brackets work and how to do the math. So let's pretend that you made $60,000 in 2019 and you chose to go with the standard deduction rather than itemizing. And I'm also not including any other deductions or credits here. So remember that everybody's tax situation is going to vary, and this is just for a very basic understanding of the federal income tax. Now the standard deduction is available for everyone no matter how much money you make. And currently, if you're filing single status in 2019, then you're going to get to shave off $12,200 off the top of your income. So that's going to take the hypothetical $60,000 income and it's going to bring it down to $47,800, which is a much better starting point, and that's what we get to use on the brackets that I'm going to show here next. Now, as you can see here, your first $0 to $9,700 is going to be taxed at 10%. So that means that we're going to pay $970 for the first step of the ladder as far as income tax goes. Now the math here is the easiest because you're just going to take $9,700 and you're going to times that by 10%, and that's what gives you the $970. Then the next income bracket is set between $9,701 to $39,475, and that's going to be at a 12% rate, so that amounts to another $3,573 that you're going to need to pay in taxes. Now, in order to get that answer, I just took the difference between $39,475 and $9,701, and that came out to $29,774. And then at that point, you just times that by 12%, which is 0.12 in your calculator. Just remember that. And then that comes to the final answer of $3,573. And if you guys are liking this video, can you please just give it a big thumbs up so that I can tell if I should make more videos like this in the future? Thanks. Now the next bracket includes everything from $39,476 all the way to $84,200. But because your total income with the standard deduction is just $47,800, you're going to be paying 22% on that difference. So the next tier is only going to be $1,831 at the highest rate of 22% for the income that you've been making. So right here, I just took the difference between $47,800 and $39,476 according to the bracket, and then that left me with $8,324, which I then multiplied that by 22%. Remember 0.22 in your calculator, and then that came to $1,831 as our final number. And when you add them all up, we have a grand total of $6,374 that we're going to need to be paying in federal taxes. Now let's take the total amount that we just added up, which was $6,374, and then divide it by your $60,000 income. And you're going to find right here that you're only paying 10.6% in total federal taxes for the year, and that's called your effective tax rate, which is a much more accurate way of looking at how much you're really paying in taxes. And this is really cool because obviously 10.6% is a lot better than the 22% bracket that we hit with the $60,000 income. Now, like I said earlier, this is just a basic tax guideline, so remember that I didn't include any other credits or other deductions in the math, so just make sure that you seek professional advice for all of your tax needs. I also didn't include any state taxes because they're all going to change no matter where you live, so just pay attention to that as well because you're going to have to pay state taxes on top of your federal taxes. Now, if you just found this channel, I'm Jason with Honest Finance, and I make a lot of videos on different topics that'll give your life and your finances more value. So if you do have an interest in this type of content, feel free to subscribe. But thank you for watching and have a good day.